So I realized after I finished that last video that I wanted to do a recap on confidence intervals, and just what are the big takeaways? What should we really focus on? Because we've got these three different styles, and maybe that feels a bit overwhelming. So I'm going to talk about each of the three styles of confidence intervals. Again, number one is when we are given a sample mean and a population standard deviation, right? X bar and sigma. That was the first style we saw. This was the information we were provided. If that's what we're provided, then we know this is like what I would call the original confidence interval. We find the margin of error with z times sigma over the square root of n. And then we find the actual confidence interval with x bar minus that margin of error, x bar plus that margin of error. If in the problem we are given this, this is how we go about it. The second style we saw was the student t. Okay, well, what was the difference? We were still given a sample mean, that's the same, but now we're given a sample standard deviation as compared to a population standard deviation. So we were told x bar and s. If you have a sample mean and a sample standard deviation, you know, because of this, that it's a student t style. And so you should use this formula: margin of error equals t times s over the square root of n. Of course, find your t using the StatCrunch calculator in reverse. Same goes for here. Use the original normal calculator in reverse to find that z. And finally, we just learned the sample proportion of success. We learned those proportion-based confidence intervals. If this is what you are given, the sample proportion of success, p hat, right? If you're given a percentage, then you know this is a proportion-based confidence interval. You're going to use margin of error equals z times square root p hat q hat over n. And then your confidence interval itself is p hat minus margin of error, p hat plus margin of error. Again, find that z-score with the original normal calculator in reverse in StatCrunch. Okay, so those are the three styles. And as you're doing it, these are what you are looking for. What is it that they tell me, right? Notice this one. Students have the most trouble with the proportion based. Here, they do not give you a sample mean, right? Sample mean, sample mean. They don't give you any sample mean. They provide you a sample proportion of success. Now, truth is, oftentimes you have to calculate this on your own. Like in practice problem number 6, they just said, hey, there were 500 applications, 60 came from men. So they're not outright saying these words. They don't even give us that number directly in that problem. But we can figure out, okay, they're asking in the end, what's the true population proportion? So there's hints in there for sure, and they even use the word proportion to tell us, okay, use the proportion based here. And so then go back and figure out p hat to start this thing off. All right, I think that was worth a few more minutes and another video. Now go check out the homework.